Well, hello, my name is Sandy Bowman, and today's date is August 12th, 2019 already. And I work here at the Life Center, Cumberland County. And today I'm here with Thelma Keller. Okay. And Thelma has been coming to the Life Center since long before I got here. And I know that since I've been here, I have really enjoyed Thelma and listening to her stories and playing cards with her and enjoying the different things that she's done throughout her life. I'm representing the Historical Society's Genealogical Museum in Greenup, and I'm the host of this evening's filming of Cumberland County's People, Places, and Things. And so Thelma Keller has agreed to share some of her things with us and some of her experiences. We're trying to preserve some film stories of your unique history for future generations so that they can access and enjoy them. So Thelma, I want to welcome you. Okay. I'm so glad to be talking with you today, and we're just going to kind of enjoy ourselves and listen to what you have to say about your life. We're so glad that you agreed to become a part of this Historical Society effort, and we're very thankful that the Historical Society is trying to do this and preserve this history. So let's see, let's make sure we have your name spelled correctly. Okay. It's Thelma.
Right.
And what's your middle name, Thelma?
Marie.
Marie, M-A-R-I-E. Keller,
K-E-L-L-E-R.
All right. So would you mind telling us when you were born and how old you are?
In June the 24th in...
Was it 1921?
1921.
So that makes you...
98 years old.
And Thelma lives in Greenup.
Greenup.
And would you tell us how you get to the Life Center every day?
I drive my car.
And then how do you get home?
I drive it home.
Well, good. And she's been driving herself here to the Life Center every day. She's usually the first one here, and she's oftentimes, like today, she'll be the last one to leave. So we are really happy to have her, and she does drink a lot of coffee. So she stays.
Not as much as it seems like. I warm it up every half cup.
Okay. So you were married. Can you tell us about your husband and when you were married?
Well, we was married, I forget how many years. I got it wrote down there.
Was it 67 years?
67 years.
And who were you married to?
Perry M. Keller. And he died November the 2nd in 2006.
And did you have any children?
No, we wasn't fortunate.
No. And where were you originally from?
Around Gila, Illinois.
And where's that?
Down in the west part of Cumberland County, or Jasper County.
Okay, so you haven't moved far from home?
No.
And where was Perry from?
Well, I think he was born he lived in Robinson sometime, and then he first lived in Greenup for a while, and then his dad got a job down to the mill, and they moved down there, and then he moved back. And we met on a blind date, and on Saturday night, and then on Wednesday evening we had another date, and we never did stop.
So was it love at first sight?
I guess so.
I guess so. And I know you miss Perry. You always speak of him very fondly. You had a good life together.
Well, he worked on the railroad for 30 years, and I worked at the shoe factory for 38 years.
Oh. And what did you do? What shoe factory was that?
Edelbrick.
At Edelbrick, there in Greenup.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do there? What did you do at the shoe factory?
Well, I done anything they wanted me to for the last several years doing their samples. And then I ended up doing Robinson and Casey's and Greenup's all sample work.
Why did they have you doing sample work?
I hate to say it, but I made a neat sample.
You did a perfect job.
Well, I wouldn't call it perfect, but then they said it was awful nice. I got a standing ovation for my workmanship when they took all the samples we'd made and took them to New York.
So what did the people in New York think of your samples?
Well, there was two of them that said that if they ever come to Greenup, they wanted to meet me, and Joe Bishop too.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen one of your samples, a little baby shoe I saw.
Uh-huh.
And it looked perfect to me.
Well, I tried to make all of them that.
But you also stitched making quilts.
Yeah. I made 82 quilts. And there's not a machine stitch on any of them.
All by hand.
All by hand.
And you had at least one quilt I've heard that made the cover of a quilting magazine. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
And you've probably gotten a couple of ribbons for your quilts?
Oh, I don't know how many ribbons I got. I got a lot of them. I got 2 from Rock Home Gardens, and which went south in the winter time, and I got first class quilt down there.
And I remember you had one quilt that was of all the states, and it had all the capitals marked and starred and written on where all the capitals were. And what else was on that quilt?
The year that they was in the Union.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it's everything about the United States.
And do you still have that?
Yeah. All of them wants it.
I'm sure they do. Have you decided who's going to get it?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we wouldn't tell the secret if you.
And I made 2 quilts at one little 1-inch squares when I got them done. It's 7,800 and some blocks. I made 3 of them, different like that.
3 of them.
I like little pieces.
And all hand stitched. Every stitch. That's amazing.
And I cut them out, but one at a time with a pair of scissors.
You didn't have any machine scissors or electric scissors or anything like that?
Nothing like that.
No. Well, I can say they are all beautiful, all the ones that I've seen. They're pretty amazing. Maybe we'll be able to have some of those that everybody can see your quilts. Mm-hmm. That would be nice. So let's go back a little bit. Did you know your grandparents and your parents, and how far back can you go in your genealogy?
My great-grandparents, as far as I can go.
And where did they come from?
Well, my dad's father lived in Indiana, and we couldn't find any track of him because when we got over there to look at the board, it had burned down, the Capitol.
Yeah.
So we just went from there to where we could find him.
Okay. And then you had relatives that came from Germany?
Yeah, that was our grandparent. Now, I never saw them, but my mom told me about them.
So you knew about them. And you had how many brothers and sisters?
There was 10 of us children, and I'm the only one left.
Well, we're glad you're here. And who were your parents?
Frank and Barbara Carrico.
And they were from here or from Indiana?
One of them was from Hidalgo,
Hidalgo?
Rose Hill.
Rose Hill,
Rose
okay.
Hill. That's where
Okay.
Dad and Mom met each other.
Okay. And you had great-grandparents that kind of escaped from Germany, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Back in the 1800s, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the men had to serve the 9 months, whether they liked it or not. And when it come his turn, that he had his 9-year month in, or years, that he could, they wanted him to stay on another 19 years. And he said, So he stowed away on the ship
So he,
and come to America
with his wife
with his wife and little girl.
and little girl. And how long, do you remember hearing how long it took them to get to the United
I think
States?
it was 74 days.
On a sailing ship. So where did you go to school?
I went to grade school in Jasper County at the Hayes School,
Okay.
my first year, and then the rest of them was at Shull School
Here in
in
Cumberland, County.
County.
And then you went to high school.
Yeah, I quit in my 3rd year because where I was staying, then people couldn't handle it anymore. They was getting too old.
Oh.
And I didn't have any way to go. We didn't have any buses. And so I stayed with them and took care of them. And it just turned out it was too much. No buses, and we lived 7 miles south of Greenup.
Oh.
And I walked it part of the time.
So you weren't living with your parents when you were going to school? You were staying with friends or other family or
No, just them old people.
just some other people?
And it was quite an ordeal back at that time. And the roads were so muddy, they didn't have concrete or anything like that. And my little sister, when she started school, had to stop every once in a while and scrape the mud off her boot, 4 buckle overshoes, because it gets heavy, she couldn't walk.
She couldn't pick her boots up out of the mud. Oh my goodness. Well, I can imagine that. I can certainly imagine that. Well, I know that Thelma is a A1 skip-bow player, and she does not let me get by with any cheating or nonsense. So if I misplay a card, she's the one who points it out to me and straightens me out. What did you like about working at Edelbrick at the shoe factory?
Well, I liked it. I liked it, really did.
And you told him at one point that you were going to be retiring. Why did you retire?
I warned them a year ahead of time that I was going to retire in September. Because we went to Decatur and Perry found out that's how long he had to work to get his pension. And he said, you'll have to quit your job, or he says there'll be another woman sitting in the chair by me because I'm going where it's warm. So I
He
quit.
didn't say that.
Oh, he was a cut up.
So when he quit, you quit.
When he quit, I quit.
And where did you go where it was warmer?
And the south end of Arkansas.
Oh, so you did go somewhere where it was
Yep.
warmer.
And then we met a couple that he brought them home with him one night, and he said, I want you to meet Harold and Ann. And so we become real good friends, and she said, well, we'll never go no place else for our holidays till as long as you kids come down here.
Well, that's
So
nice.
we went someplace, there were 2 Wednesdays and Saturdays.
And what did you do with Harold and Ann? Did you play cards or go dancing?
We was out running around, looking at all the different places that.
Oh, traveling. Well, what do you like about coming to the Life Center?
I love it. I think everybody gets along with everybody else, and I don't know of a better place to spend my time.
Well, I know we are really thankful that you do come, and you add a lot, I think, for everybody.
Well, I don't know.
I do. I do. You get a good meal from Piecemeal every weekday, and that's important. But I think you make everybody happy to see you, and whenever you're not
Well,
here,
I hope they do. I don't know.
I do.
And I kind of tease everybody every day.
I think they are just fine with that. And when you're not here, they all wonder and ask us, where is Thelma? And we have to have an answer to that question. Thank you so much for coming in and spending time with us every day, and especially today. And us being able to get this on film so that everybody can see Thelma.
All righty.
And we'll save this. And we'll give you a copy of this. How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you, Thelma. And thank you.